Okay, here we go. Framework interactive workshops. So this is a piece that I'm really excited about. And the purpose of this presentation is just to detail the type of content that we will be providing for the higher tier subscription levels in Framework as a customer. So let's jump into it. Content is king. We already know that. We've seen models like Netflix and now Hulu and Amazon and Comcast with NBC. Everyone's getting into this content game, creating original content. And we've seen this across the board on social media, email campaigns, where there are plenty of videos, case studies, tutorials, and how-tos that show entrepreneurs and small business owners how to really develop their business models and to thrive. But what we haven't seen is content that's really immersive, that's engaging, and allows people to take part of the process in building. And that's what we're about to design here or show here. So we want to go through interactive content. Customers or content that our customers can interact with in real time that help them make actionable decisions. So what exactly do we mean by that? Introducing interactive workshops. And this is a better way to build businesses. But first, let me tell you a little story. When I used to work at Johnson & Johnson as a marketing analyst for the Tylenol Cold brand, we would do these brand positioning workshops. So imagine cold and flu season is coming up. Johnson & Johnson hires an independent consultant to come in and say, hey, look, we want to take you and your team members out to an offsite. Let's go to downtown Philadelphia instead of staying in Fort Washington. Let's talk about the positioning of your brand. Let's talk about who your target market customers are and the segments. Let's talk about how you're messaging to them, the tone of voice, and the channels. And then we would go through this 6 hours worth of a day worth of workshops, and then cold and flu season comes up and you generate $20 million in a season or more, depending on which brand you were. And Sudafed does this. Tylenol does this, right? All of these brands do this, and historically hiring these independent agencies to come in and do these workshops, whether they're for marketing or whether they're for pricing strategies, is really, really cost prohibitive until now. All of that amazing workshop experience, genius, and collaboration can now be delivered by Framework in the app itself. Here's how it'll work. Step one, every Framework subscriber can go to their roadmap and say, oh, I want to look at case studies. I want to look at brand positioning workshops or pricing workshops or how do I land investor workshops. And you just select the one that you want and then invite everyone that you would like to be a participant. Step three, Framework handles the rest. It automatically sends out an email to everyone to schedule it, and then a pre-workshop survey to get feedback from each participant before the workshop. And then the day of, Framework provides the presentation. All the host has to do is click next, 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 and engage and follow the steps for the exercises. And let's run an example on that. So you want to figure out how to brand your company. You've invested a lot of resources in social media marketing, email advertising, but things just don't seem to be working. You don't seem to be generating a lot of sales. And then you decide to stumble into Framework and say, you know what, maybe it's us, how we're articulating our vision, how we're articulating the brand. And you decide to select the brand positioning workshop. Once you do that and you select from the list on the Framework platform, then you can go ahead and invite the participants. So in this, we've got Prince, we've got Chelsea, we've got Maite, and we've got Camille. Now let's say everyone is at the company at Purple Rain Company, and then Camille is just a customer. As a CEO or an entrepreneur, I may want to invite my customers into this workshop, so I'll send them an email. And then I'll input the date range, so it may be from March 18th to March 22nd, and Framework will automatically send an email to say, hey, we're glad you're joining this workshop. Now we need to schedule a time. And everyone can schedule, no matter where you are in the world or across the country or wherever. People can put in the times that they're best suited to engage in this workshop. After that, the work really begins. Once the time has been set, Framework sends another automated email that's a pre-workshop survey. And this, if it's specific to brand positioning, we may ask questions like, hey, if your brand personality was an animal, what animal would it be? You know, who do you define as your target market? And all this pre-workshop survey does is collect enough information to create a really, really great workshop that gets automatically embedded into the presentation throughout it, and it informs the exercises that people will be engaging in. Now it's go time. It's workshop day. All people need to do is go onto their computer or on their phone, and Framework provides the host with the presentation on brand positioning. You click through, you go through the exercises, everyone can text or talk, engaging with each other and understanding their true brand, or understanding whichever workshop they've decided to do, whether that was pricing, whether that was fundraising, whether that was marketing, whether that was an operational strategy, or whether that was prototyping. But let's take a look through the actual workshop and what's within it. So specifically to a brand positioning workshop, we'll take them through an introduction, which is a video on why branding is important and what it means. And then we'll go through an overview, so the table of contents of the workshop and what each slide will maintain, that will be discussed. Third, we'll go through collaboration. So select answers from the pre-workshop survey are automatically popped up in the presentation and shown to the team and discussed. And then exercises. So positioning exercises are done between each member of the team, where you really start to synthesize everyone's genius and everyone's perspective on the brand and the workshop at hand. The second phase of that is creating archetypes, right? So everyone has different target markets, but now it's about segmenting them and adding psychographic characteristics to understand what archetypes and what personalities really show through in your target market segments. And then we'll go through a tone of voice exercise where you explore what's the formulaic expression of our voice. Is it empathy plus empowerment equals success for our voice in the marketplace? What is it? And then a mental reset. So everyone's just spent a lot of time and a lot of resources on trying to understand who their brand is and how to position it. But now let's take a break. Let's rest up and reposition ourselves. And then finally, key items. So participants create mission statements, refine taglines, sample content, and more. And this is really the actionable meat of the presentation. What this does is create two things: an immersive experience, and it's through an adaptable interface. So these interactive workshops really pull people into the presentation together. They generate live feedback and encourage collaboration. And it's through an adaptable interface. So whether you're on your phone or whether you're on your computer, you can engage, you can talk and text in real time. And this is the type of content that's really a game changer, because it creates collaboration between people. You're not just watching it and observing it. You're an active participant in the way that content is developed and how it unfolds for the benefit of your business.